We're out here in the field. We're out here in the field looking at the beginning of mango flowering. This is February. Usually mangoes can begin blooming anytime from December through March. And here we are in February, and you can see this is just beginning to put out an inflorescence or a panicle, which is what it's commonly called. And it's got a nice green color, looks real healthy. Probably the biggest challenge that homeowners face is getting their mango trees to set fruit. And the main reason they don't set fruit is because of two different diseases. One is called powdery mildew and the other anthracnose. Powdery mildew usually happens when we have cool, dry weather. And when I say cool, I don't mean in the 50s. I'm talking about anywhere from the 50s up into the high 60s. And it's a fungal disease that colonizes this inflorescence and the flowers and then cause them to drop off. Easily controlled if during the spring, during this time of late winter, you should be monitoring your mango tree. And if you start to see anything that looks sort of a grayish color on any of the inflorescences on the tree, you can go ahead and you can apply an elemental sulfur spray. You can purchase this from garden stores or any of the labeled fungicides that you may find in a garden store. It should have something on the label about powdery mildew. Be sure to follow the directions very, very carefully. And then if you take care of the powdery mildew, then that won't be a problem. Usually only 1 or 2 sprays are necessary at about a 2-week interval, and the inflorescence should be fine. The other one is anthracnose, and anthracnose is also a fungal disease, and it generally likes wet, warmer weather, and we tend to have both sometimes, and that's easily controlled with a copper spray. And you can buy copper fungicide at the garden stores, read the directions, follow the label, and generally, again, you would only need perhaps 2 sprays. Doing it either now and again in a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, or you could have started when this was actually a little bit smaller and then done it again in about 3 or 4 weeks. Very easily controlled. And then if we look a little further, this you see are some opening, fully developed panicles, and actually you can see some flowers here, the little green and yellow mango flowers, and you see this beautiful pink color. You see very, very little in the way of any disease problem on these trees. And again, if you think you start to see any anthracnose, which the symptoms would be little dark black spots, and they start spreading, and if we're having a lot of wet, warm weather, I would strongly suggest you go out and go ahead and make 1 or 2 copper sprays at about 2 weeks apart, and that should protect this whole structure, including the flowers, and you'll get some fruit set, and you should be set for the year.
Okay, what do we got?
Okay, what we're seeing here is a mango inflorescence that has been attacked by anthracnose, which is a fungus. And you see a lot of dark spots, and you see where there's missing flowers, and the flowers have all dropped off. And what has happened is a fungal disease called anthracnose has colonized this inflorescence or panicle and prevented it from really setting any fruit. We see a little bit of fruit here, but if we continue to have wet, rainy weather, these may not set. They may not remain on the tree, and they may fall off. And what eventually may happen is this panicle or inflorescence may end up looking like this, where there's absolutely no fruit set whatsoever, and it's dried out and it just remains here. A little key thing that you can do at home on a smaller tree is that after you harvest all your fruit this summer, you can remove these old panicles from the tree. And why is it important to remove them? You can remove these because these actually act as a source of fungal spores that then go ahead and reinfect the next year's inflorescences and flowers. So by removing this, composting it on the soil, you'll reduce the amount of disease inoculum on your tree.